some of your homework if you want to go into it. And also, while I'm talking, feel free to put any of your thoughts in the chat. So I have the chat open and I'll try to multitask the best that I can, where you're like, yeah, that really lands. Because sometimes when I'm hearing a monologue, I can't always know like what's landing, what are you connecting with, what is like completely missing the point. So let me know what lands. Let me know if you've got questions that are coming up. So really use the chat during this time. What I want us to start with is, first, I find it really helpful to have a couple beliefs or mottos that structure how we live our life. So for instance, one of my main beliefs that I have is life is happening for me, not to me. This belief helps me to stay out of a victim mindset. It helps me to stay in a surrendered mindset, a growth mindset. So when something happens and I might want to go into poor me, that's not fair, I feel betrayed, I feel attacked, I go, life is happening for me, not to me. This is a gift. So that is one of my main beliefs that helps me to stay in an empowered mindset and move through the challenges that come towards me. If somebody upsets me, then that belief system helps me to go within rather than try to control, dismiss, avoid the external. Does that make sense? Yeah? So I'd love for you guys each to put, what's a belief that you hold that holds you through life and its challenging moments? And drop it in the chat. Another one that I have is, I'm committed to living my life with an open heart, practicing forgiveness, and embodying peace. So there, if something happens and I have a conflict with somebody, no matter how big it is, no matter how much I was attacked or betrayed, I am committed to practicing forgiveness, because I have a belief system that I believe in reincarnation, where I hurt you, you hurt me, and we do this for lifetimes. And the only way to break that cycle in my belief system is through my forgiveness. Now, just because I forgive somebody doesn't mean I need to keep them in my life, but my heart is at peace. And I'm not living with anger and resentment, which are just like poisons and they hold me down. They don't do anything to the other person. Okay, Julia, lead with love. I love that. I actually have a course called Lead with Love or something like that. It's my men's course. I love it. Okay, great. Lead with love. What else do you guys have? What are your other beliefs that what's a belief that you live by? That helps you to show up in hard times, that keeps you connected to your values. Try to apply, not just from your point of view. Nice. I like that. Yeah, like what would feel fair for the other person. Was somebody going to share something?
I think Spoonie maybe wanted to say something, but I'm not sure.
Spoonie, did you want to share yours verbally instead of typing it?
Yes, dog is being really loud. Sorry. Yeah, the dog is sad that he can't that I can't pet him. You know, one of my things, like, I can't really think right now because my brain is still waking up. I'm trying to get some breakfast here, but you know, I've always thought if I don't live for tomorrow, like I won't find out what happens tomorrow. You know, my life's been like really hard for most of my life. So yeah, there is most of the years of my life I've just been living one day at a time.
Okay. So, I love that. Live in the present moment. Live one day at a time. Great.
Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you. And Tina, do you have one? Joe, I saw yours. I know it's right for me. Love that. Yeah. Okay. Well, Tina, put yours in there when you can. So with this, I think it's really good to have a collection of beliefs, to know what your beliefs are, to know what your values are, to know what your visions are. Those are things that help us to stay in a growth mindset and living as our best selves, embodying our values, and living a life where if people that we cared about, our kids, our students, our clients, our friends, if everybody was watching us, do we feel good if our life was under surveillance of how we're living it? So these belief systems help us to do that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is sometimes we aren't able to live as our best selves because we've got wounds. And our wounds create interpretations of our reality that are not from this place of life is happening for me, it's happening to me, or whatever else it is. Other people's opinions matter more than my own, or whatever. So our wounds, when we can start to pay attention, when we get triggered and we can get in touch with our wounds, it helps us to be able to know what to heal and then to be able to live as our most empowered self. So that's what we're going to do today. For me, the foundation of healing, it has a couple of things in there. You want to notice your emotions and feel your emotions. Your ability to identify your emotions. Like right now, this is what I'm feeling. So I can share an emotional wheel. I think I've probably shared one in the past. I can't recommend enough to work with this tool in every therapeutic modality. The better that you can name your emotion, the more successful that therapeutic modality is going to be. So, that's not the thing I wanted to share with you. Let me pull up the emotion wheel. Can I attach something here? I can't, can I?
Is it like a link or document or?
I'll send a link over. I was
Yeah.
gonna send a document.
If you want me to share something, let me know. I can also share so people can see.
Let's see if that works. What does that open it up to? When you guys
The
open
feeling
that
wheel.
Okay, perfect. I was like, that is not the link that I thought I was sending, but so this wheel, if you guys can keep it with you, have it in your bag, have it next to your bed, have it everywhere. Practice naming your emotions. The more that you develop an emotional vocabulary, the more you're going to develop your emotional intelligence. So having this, looking at it and working with it is going to help you so much in your healing journey and being able to be your best self. The other one is to become aware of your thoughts. We have so many thoughts. Most of them, 95% of them, are unconscious. Yet they are what are influencing us, the way that we feel, the way that we interpret other people, the way that we interpret our life, the way we talk to ourselves. The more that you can bring those thoughts to the surface and then work with them, the greater your capacity to heal. And you need to work with both the emotions and the thoughts. You feel the emotions and you question the thoughts. I have a lecture that I gave on this at a conference. So if anybody wants access to this lecture, message me on Instagram, send me an email, and I will talk with my team about how to get you access. I usually sell this lecture. I'll give it to you guys for free. If you want it, contact me. You listen. So it's about how to feel your emotions and how to question your thoughts. So that is a foundation for healing. When you work on truly feeling your emotions, and I have worked with so many coaches and therapists who come to me thinking that they know how to feel their emotions, and then realizing, oh, I don't actually know how to feel my emotions. Just because you're angry and yelling does not mean that you are feeling your anger. Just because you're crying does not mean you are feeling your sadness. Feeling your emotions is about witnessing them and the physical experience and sensations that you're having in your body. And that is an invaluable practice that will facilitate deep healing. All of us have repressed emotions inside of our body. And each time when we get triggered and we have an emotion, when we learn to feel them and be with them, then we are able to actually heal them and release some of the suppression that has happened over the years. So that I explained in this other lecture, which I'm going to leave it in you guys, in your hand, to take that initiative and contact me and get access to that. What I want to go into today is a process called trace the trigger or heal the wound, depending upon when you met me and what kind of creativity I was having around what I wanted to name it. And here we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to work with feeling the emotion. So let me, I'm going to give you guys a template so you can look over this. I had all of these as documents that I was going to upload, but we can't do that here. Okay, so here's a template for trace the trigger. This is the process I want to take you guys through today.
Just in just a second. So it's on the chat, the link that you can access. So if to access the chat, so you have the bottom of your screen and you'll see a little box where you can click to see the chat. If you have any problems, let me know opening this up.
Okay, great. So this process was inspired by a training that I did with Gabor Mate. You guys, having gone and done medicine work, you might be familiar with him. He's one of the leading trauma experts in the world right now, and he is very much in favor of plant medicine. So I did a training, an extensive training with him, which really influenced this process. So what it is like when we get triggered. So let's say, let me find an example. Okay, my ex, he was always late. You know, there's some people who are on time. There's other people who have no clue what on time is. I'm a very on time person. He has no clue what on time is. On time is 15 minutes late on average. So when he would show up late, what I would do is like, okay, let me first focus on where I'm feeling this in my body. So I would find that part in my body and I would look at the descriptive qualities. Where is it located? What's its size? What is its color? What is its texture? I go in on those details because it helps me to connect to the body. Initially, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I have like a lump in my chest, or I have a rock in my stomach. But when you start to go in and you start to like, oh, what is the texture? What is the color? What is the weight? And you look at all of those different components, it's helping you to get in touch with that sensation, with that emotion in a witness manner. And so that's something that can really help to go there. Then you want to look at when is the first time I felt this? And so you can say, when is the first time that I felt this sensation? Or when is the first time I felt this emotion? So if you want to name what's the emotion that I'm feeling right now, there's multiple ways to go in. What is the belief that I'm feeling right now? And when's the first time I thought that? What is the emotion that I'm feeling? When's the first time that I felt that? Or when's the first time that I felt this physical sensation? And so when you ask that question as you're focusing on that sensation, let your mind reveal to you where it wants you to go. And you want to go, when's the first time? So what's the root cause that it comes up with? And then you're going to go back to that initial memory. And so you're going to probably see yourself as a little kid. And you want to learn or to look at that from a perspective of where you are now to that little child. So what this is going to start, we're going to start to do a reparenting exercise. At this point, with the wounds that we carry, we may want other people to validate us, to love us, to give us those things that our parents didn't give or whoever didn't give us that created those wounds. But the true healing happens. And while that healing does happen in relations, but the true healing happens now when we do that for ourselves. And that's called reparenting. And so what we first want to do is we first want to get in touch with what that little kid is feeling. So whatever memory came up in your mind, go to that moment and then go into what is that kid feeling? What are they needing? What are the beliefs that that kid has decided about themselves? And so, for instance, when my partner was late, I would go back to, oh, my dad would not always be mindful of my time growing up. And that really triggered me. It made me feel like my time wasn't important or that I wasn't important. So I got in touch with the beliefs that I started to generate as a kid. So all the time while you're doing this, you want to keep an awareness on the body and on that part of yourself where that wound exists. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go in, and if you were able to insert yourself into the moment of that kid's life, which is you, what would you want to say to them? Would you want to say, like, you're loved, you're valued, your time is important, I care about what you want and need? And you say all of the things that you wish somebody would have said to you in that moment. And that's the reparenting part. And then after you do that, you come back and you say those things to yourself with the trigger that you're feeling right now. So this is how we're able to do some core wound work. That is a quick outline of this process. Are there any questions? Because then what I would like to do next is I would like to take somebody through this so that you can see it and experience it. Are there any questions with what I've said so far? No? Okay. So I'd love for you guys just to think and get in touch with for yourself, because as I take somebody through this process, I want you to be taking yourself through it as well. And I'm going to give you some little details and tricks along the way for these different phases. So those of you who feel comfortable, write down in the chat something that's been triggering you lately. What did somebody do? What did they say? What did they not do? What's a trigger that you've experienced recently? Write it in the chat.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to write stuff in the chat. That's why I'm not typing anything in there. I literally have this is my first call I've ever done like this before, so I'm so sorry.
No problem, Katie. Just tell me, do you want to just answer it verbally?
I don't know if this one applies, but when I first read the email and I was doing it, my thing that I don't know if this is an actual trigger, if I'm answering the question correctly, but the problem that I've been having since I've been home from my retreat is still I'm doing everything for everybody and having a hard time recognizing to do anything for myself. So I feel like I did really good when I was at the retreat, and I feel like I'm failing this of keeping myself on the forefront. So I feel like a lot of things are triggering me in that way. I don't know if that's an actual, like, it's not an argument with my husband or anything, but I just
Perfect.
okay. Okay. And sorry, I don't know how to type in the thing, you guys. I'm really sorry. I'll take a class or something before I do it again.
So Katie, probably in the bottom right corner, there's a thing that represents the chat box. So just have a look there and see if you can find it. If you run your cursor over it, it will say chat with everybody.
I just have like a little hand and stuff, and I hit something and some emojis came up, and I was like, I just didn't want to like get out of the call. So I was like, I have like a little pin on the top left-hand corner, but I just don't know.
Okay. Well,
I'm so sorry, you guys.
Okay. I'm gonna move on, but that's perfect. Your trigger's
okay.
Good.
Okay.
Julie, you said argument with husband about something small that turned into a huge fight, screaming, crying, and saying hurtful things about character and past. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That is a common unfolding. I've done relationship coaching for 20 years, so I know that one very well for a lot of people. Okay. Does anybody else want to share something that's come up here? Does anybody else want to share a trigger?
I mean, I used to fight constantly with my former roommate because he was very abusive, and I basically just lived with abusive people my whole life. This is the first time in my life that I don't have anybody fighting with me, so it's weird. The people here are just nice.
And you know what? That also represents the healing that's taken place, because the degree to which we are wounded, we call people and circumstances into our life that match that. It's our subconscious wanting to heal those things. So if you are getting less toxic people in your life, it is a representation of you healing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And the retreats I've been on definitely have helped.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So Candy or Julia, would either one of you guys be interested in being taken through? And I'm going to do it relatively quickly. If we had a one-on-one session, I would go slower, but I would like to model what this process can look like. And while I take one of you through it, if you're willing, then everybody else can go through their own process with the prompts that I'm doing. Or either,
Candy can,
okay.
unless you want me to. I don't care.
I don't care either. I'm
Oh,
I'm
okay.
open for whatever.
You can do it then.
Okay, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. So can't everybody else just make sure you're muted. And as I take this, I would like for you to take yourself through your own process. So Candy's going to be answering it, but if you can be answering your own process with the prompts that I'm giving her, okay? And see what you can do with that. I'm going to teach you some little tricks along the way for this process. Candy, actually, with what you brought up, I have a much more efficient tool than this, but it's not one that I can group facilitate. But there are other tools that just like cut straight to the matter and like help us to rewire some things. But we're going to use this tool for this one, for what you spoke about. Okay. So right now, oh, and Joe, I saw that you put in there rejection from a judgmental family who cannot accept my reality. All right. So each of you guys, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to get in touch with this trigger that you have put there. Where does that trigger, where does it ignite in your body? And you're going to scan your core. So your throat, your chest, your stomach, your back, your pelvic floor, it's going to be somewhere in your core. And I want you to get in touch with that sensation. So I want you to look at how big is it? And you guys can all just answer this internally. Candy, you as well for this part. What color is it? What is the weight of it? What's the shape? What's its texture? So right now what you're doing is you're feeling that emotion. So I'd like for you to label that emotion. What emotion is it? Is it hurt? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it fear? Is it shame? Is it insecurity? Is it frustration? Is it worry? Name that emotion. And as you keep your awareness on that sensation, if that sensation could speak, what would it say? Listen to the very first thing that came up. Candy, what was the first thing that came up for you?
My first thing was overwhelm and too much.
Okay. What does too much refer to?
It just feels like it's too much.
It's too much. Okay. So now go back to closing your eyes, Candy. Thank you for that. And where you guys can go here, you can go a couple different ways. So you can say, while still focusing on that sensation, when's the first time I felt this? Or you can go, you named the emotion. So Candy's was overwhelmed. When's the first time I felt overwhelmed? Or when's the first time that I felt like it's too much? Any one of those is an avenue in. And then just see what your subconscious shows you. It's going to take you back to an event. Ideally, it's an early childhood event, but really you can do this for any of them. So now we've gone back to this early childhood part. So Candy, where did it take you?
To my childhood of trying to care for everybody in my family.
Okay. So did it take you to a specific moment, a specific memory?
I feel like I'm in grade school. It's not a specific time. It's just like, that's how my life was.
Okay. So you're in grade school.
Mhm.
Do you have a kid in your life that's in grade school?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, you guys, what I'm doing is this is a little hack sometimes to get past some blocks that we have in our mind. So when we can identify another kid that was that age, whether it's 3 or it's 5 or it's 11, find a kid that you know in that age or imagine somebody else. So Candy, I want you to see the kid that you know. Who's the kid that you know in grade school?
My grandson.
What's his name?
Jet.
Jack?
Jet. Like Jet. J-E-T-T.
J-E-T-T. Okay,
Yep.
Jet. Okay, so I want you to see Jet in the scenario that you grew up in grade school where you're taking care of everybody. And as you're witnessing that, what do you think it is that Jet is feeling?
Overwhelm and sadness.
Okay. So he's feeling overwhelming sadness. What are the beliefs that he holds about himself?
That he has to be good and take care of everybody.
Okay. What are the beliefs that he holds about other people?
That he's always got to do the right thing.
Okay. And what are some other beliefs that he might hold about himself?
That he's got to work really hard.
Okay. And what do you think a core wound might be? So core wounds are, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy. So what kind of person thinks that they have to work really hard and they have to do the right thing and they have to take care of other people? At the root of that, what is the core wound?
I think just trying to be somebody that maybe gets love from producing or working hard or being like the good kid.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
at the core of that, that sounds like an I'm unlovable wound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Okay. So with Jet, I want you to imagine that you were able to go in there in this scene where Jet is having that belief. He's feeling the overwhelm. He's feeling the sadness. He thinks he has to take care of everybody. He has to work hard. He has to do what's right. And then you can see he's about to go through his entire life like that. And you have an opportunity in this moment to go in there and reprogram him. What do you want to tell him? What do you want him to know about himself? What do you want him to know about life? That he will then carry those beliefs with him onwards and not these ones that you have just spoken to. What do you want to tell him in that moment? You are what?
You are valuable. You are smart. You don't have to get loved by working so hard. And just that I love him just the way he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So where was that sensation that you were focusing on, Candy?
When we very first started, it's like in my stomach a lot. The feeling like when we were very first starting, it felt like it was a lot like in my stomach. And then when we started talking about Jet, it was like more in my heart.
Okay. So I want you to focus on your stomach.
Okay.
Okay. And I want you to say to yourself, to that part of you. So this is the reparenting now.
Okay.
We brought up Jet so that you could really empathize with him, because sometimes we can empathize with other people better than we can empathize with ourselves, especially when you got a personality like what you got going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why we did that. That's a little hack there.
Okay.
For that reason.
That does help. That does help me a lot also.
Yeah.
I'm a very overly empathetic person, and I recently discovered that I don't have a lot for myself through a meditation I did, and it was pretty painful to figure that out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the little hack for that.
Okay.
Now we're going to go into reparenting. So
Okay.
you you just did reparenting. You did it on Jet, which is probably easier for you to comprehend. And now we're going to bring that back to yourself.
Okay.
I want you to focus on your stomach.
Okay.
I want you to say, you are valuable. And I want you to feel that land in your stomach. You, as an adult, are saying that to your inner child. You are valuable.
Valuable.
You are smart.
Smart.
I love you just the way that you are.
Love you just the way that you are.
You don't have to get loved by working so hard. What's happening to that physical sensation now, Candy?
I feel like it's kind of weird because I feel like not sad, but I feel like I don't know, I feel like just a sense of like a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel sad for like the younger version of me that did that, and that I've continued to do that until I was, 54 years old. But I also feel like happy. I feel sad and happy at the same time. I'm that doesn't make sense, but I feel like compassion. Maybe I do suffer from that. So I feel maybe like a lot of compassion, and I just don't really know what that feeling feels like that much.
Okay.
Of self-compassion. So I think maybe that's what I'm feeling, but I'm really new at it.
Well, great. You access that super quickly. And it makes sense that there would be grief. Yeah, you're grieving 53 years of not giving yourself the love, validation, and attention.
Yes.
And you're happy that you're doing it right now in this moment.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, you made it make sense.
Yeah. So just notice how quickly that sensation in your body has changed. And I want all of you to notice that if you went and did these steps along the way with us. When you zero in on it and you feel the physical sensations, you let it have its voice. If that sensation could speak, what would it say? You identify the emotion, you give it a voice, and then you go back and you heal that wound that your subconscious revealed to you. And then you integrate that into your present moment. That is what you can, and you guys can do this all the time. Anytime you get triggered, you go into the body. Describe the sensation, name the emotion. If that sensation could speak, if that emotion could speak, what would it say? When did I first feel this way? This process is so, so powerful for healing your wounds. And so what's happening here is like you get triggered. And normally when we get triggered, we want to like react to the external. But if you keep reacting to the external, it's going to take you in spirals and things might happen like Julia, like your guys' wounds were just exploding on each other. But if you go, wait a minute. So I would be in a fight with my ex. I'm like, hold up. In a moment of lucidity, in the midst of my unconsciousness that's coming out of my partner and I'm fighting, let me go inside. What's really going on here? And then I go, oh, there's a little girl here that is sad and she is overwhelmed and she feels like she has to work really hard to get love. And then I come to my partner with that. Right now in this moment, I am so afraid of rejection and abandonment, and I'm overwhelmed, and I just need to take a moment to pause and give that part of me attention. You guys will heal so much faster if you go within. When you get triggered, instead of exploding and fighting and controlling on the outside, you go within. You will notice if you do this each time, those triggers get less and less. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
Candy, I'd love to hear how this experience was for you. And then I'd love to hear how those of you who went through this, what came up for you in it too. So Candy, what'd you experience?
It was such a roller coaster in such a short amount of time. I even felt at the end, like my shoulders kind of came down, and I feel a lot lighter. I feel like even when we very first started, I felt like just like a kind of a crazy ocean, and it was really red, and it just seemed like overwhelmingly powerful. And now I feel more of a sense of calm, and even just like throughout my whole body. I almost felt like sick to my stomach, and I feel like very relieved and light. So Thank you. Thank you guys also for letting me do that. And thank you for walking me through that. It was really beautiful for me. So thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, and it's so important to dial in on what happy feels like, on what self-compassion feels like. So the same way that we went into what sadness and overwhelmed and you described it to yourself, do the same thing with happy emotions. All of you, all the time. When you shift, be like, all right, this is where I'm at now, because you want to anchor those in your body. And I want you to know how fast this can work. I have taken people from full panic attacks to completely regulated in 10 minutes. So I had somebody being like, I need to be institutionalized. And in less than 10 minutes, they were completely regulated. I had somebody the other day that was like so pissed at her husband. So she was spiteful. And on a scale of 1 to 10, she was an 8. And in less than 10 minutes, I used a different technique on her. In less than 10 minutes, she could not think of a reason to be spiteful towards her husband. There are tools out there. And when you learn them, you do not need to suffer. Because when you get triggered, when you have the right tools in your toolkit, then you know how to work with that trigger. That trigger is there because there is a wound inside of you. And then you have a belief system, you have a belief structure about yourself, about other people that's filtering the world. And healing can happen so fast. I worked with a woman the other day who has had an immense amount of trauma in her life. Huge. And she is somebody who's incredibly successful now. And yet we were working some unworthy wound and with a different tool, but than this one. But at the end of the hour, she's like, Justine, people have been telling me all my life you are worthy, and to like look in the mirror and say you are worthy. She's like, I never grasped it until this moment. Learn your tools. This is something that therapy lacks. Therapy lacks giving people tools. One of my friends one time, she's 10 years in therapy. She called me. She was in a dismissive, avoidant reaction. And I said, okay, girl, what are your tools? She's like, tools, what are you talking about? So what do you do to get yourself out of a trigger? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, you've been in therapy for 10 years. What have you been doing? Talking. Just talking about your problem and going into the story is not going to get you out of it. Your story is what keeps you stuck. Get tools. And if you want to do coaching with me, I will teach you these tools so that you heal the wound, that you shift the programming, that you release the repressed emotion. And the more that you do that, the less that you will continue to live the life where you are suffering. You will stop calling people, circumstances, and situations into your life that make you suffer, because those are all a reflection of the wounds that exist inside of you. They're all coming to you to give you an opportunity to heal and handle them differently than you have in the past. So before I move on to other people, Candy, how are you going to embody this now? What are you going to do differently with this happiness and self-compassion? Give me one thing that you're going to do today to live this new awareness more fully in your life.
I think I'm going to just be more self-aware.
Okay, great step. Great step.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to share what they experienced going through this process? So did you take yourself through this process? Julia, yeah. And what happened?
Yeah, it was it's like so like efficient because I've had so much trouble with like dysregulation and being triggered and saying all these hurtful things and then hating myself. And I've gotten much better, but then it just felt like a relapse of it the other day. And I kind of think like, what could I have done? And it just takes that small moment of clarity to go and use this. And I felt like the answers kind of came to me pretty quickly, which I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I kind of get nothing. And yeah, it did. It came with me and I felt like really compassionate towards myself.
So good. So good. And it's from that place that you can then love other people. Because we're only hurt people. We say hurtful things because we're hurting inside. But if you pay attention to that little one that's hurt inside and you give her attention, you're not going to say those hurtful things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like for me, if you ask people in my life, like what's one word you would use to describe Justine? One of the first top 3 words that come out is efficiency. Like I care so much about efficiency. So like the tools that I have they cut straight to it. This is one. I have way more efficient tools to do, but I don't do them in group situations. But build your toolkit. I can't recommend enough to like have your self-soothing list, have your deal with your trigger list of like, these are the things that I do when I'm triggered, because every trigger you have is an opportunity to heal. Every time you heal, you use that trigger and you go down to the core and you heal part of that wound, it will come up less in the next moment. And then you'll need to work on it again and again and again until it's healed. And then huge shifts can happen in little period of time with the right tools. This is a powerful tool, as you guys experienced. You were in that for 10 minutes, probably.
Yeah, it goes fast.
And Julie, I facilitate you. You facilitated yourself while I facilitated Candy. Right?
Can I ask you something, Justine?
Yeah.
How do you recognize that you've been triggered? Because sometimes you just, like, I think I know when I'm being triggered, but sometimes, like, I had a situation with my brothers the other day because we're going through some family issues that we're four, so we have to deal with each other, and we're pretty good at communicating. But there was some times where they recognized that my voice was up, I was stiff, but I didn't think I was triggered. I was just saying my piece. And then later I was like, oh, I think they're right. I was reacting from a triggered position.
Yeah.
But how do you know that you're being triggered or you're just passionate about a subject? And sometimes I find that difficult to understand, because once I realize that I'm triggered, even in a small, quick moment, you can do the exercise that you've just done, even in a fight, right? There's moments where you have that split second that you can go in. It doesn't have to take so long, right? Sometimes I've started to feel that more. But I think, I would like to hear your point of view on this.
So important. Each of us want to know, what are our own red flags? What are the things that we do? So like, does it contract? Do my fists tighten up? Do I tighten my jaw? Like, what do you cross your arms? What do you do? And you'll start to observe yourself. What are your red flags? So for me, I know I'm triggered if I start cleaning, especially when I start cleaning like floorboards, like I'm cleaning stuff that doesn't need to be cleaned. Girls got emotions that need to be worked out. That is like, when I notice, I'm like, ooh, okay, what are we feeling right now? Because someone's not paying attention to it. They're trying to avoid and distract. That's one of the ways that I know. But then if I'm with somebody else, if I know that I'm trying to like be passionate and talk my point, and I'm trying to assert my point, and I'm more focused on what I'm saying than listening and connecting, I'm triggered. So, and I had, that was a big one I had to work on. I'm an Aquarian. We have an I know mind. So that I did. The thing that helped me the most with my I know mind, which I saw some fellow I know minds in here, is the work of Byron Katie. So those of you who reach out to me for this lecture on feel your emotions, question your thoughts, I take you through a process of how to feel your emotions, which is similar to what we did here today. And I talk about the work of Byron Katie. I have a course that I made that you guys can buy. It's like $100. This is one of the best techniques that I now have learned, a new method that even blows that one out of the water. But the work of Byron Katie is a phenomenal, phenomenal method. It is one of the best ones out there. I have a course that teaches it for like $100. Or if you really want to dive deep into it, there's a course, the website is called The Work is a Meditation. And it's a much more extensive course where they take you through it. They teach it to you. I recommend doing the highest version because then you get an assistant that helps you go through it. And it's like $1,200. It's so good. It will change your life. Like, the work of Byron Katie is phenomenal. Her book, Loving What Is a great place to start. It is a excellent tool to have in your toolbox to deal with any trigger. I can't recommend it enough. So I just gave you multiple resources. There's her book called Loving What Is. There's YouTube where you can watch Katie facilitating people. There's my course that will give you the tips and tricks and how to do it, and various documents that I've made to help support you in it. And then there's a more extensive course that's called The Work is the Meditation is the name of that website. Highly, highly, highly recommend learning that. So know your own triggers, basically. Like, what are signs that you notice, and you'll develop that over time. So start a document. My red flags are like trying to talk over other people, or like cleaning. Like, those are the biggest things that I know for myself. So you start to notice what yours are, because they're going to be different. We're different personalities. We manifest in different ways. Some of us are external and assertive, and others of us go inwards and shrink. I'm a get active kind of person when I get triggered. I talk and I move. Okay. Any other questions before I start to wrap this up? Or Joe, do you want to share? Did you take yourself through a process? Any insights that you want to share? Because you had mentioned a trigger that you had.
I've started to do things like this a little bit in other ways, but similar. And what it keeps coming back. That's the thing. It's not a one and done kind of thing. It's like I find that I'm able to identify these root causes and these wounds, but and really connect and understand how I wouldn't want that to happen. I chose my nephew as the younger person, and him to be living through that, and that brings me great sadness. But the real challenge is having a stick.
Is what?
Having a stick.
Yeah. Okay.
Not this moment, not just be for today, being like actually like remembering it so that I'm not blasted every time the triggering thing comes up,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for speaking to this. So important. There's 5 things I want to say to what you just said. One, like, knowing this root cause, it's not enough just to know it. You got to heal it. And that's really important. Like, when I work with people, I'll be like, okay, have you done therapy or coaching before? What worked, what didn't work? The most common answer, and it's literally verbatim that people say, is, I know why I'm fucked up, but I don't know what to do about it. Like, I know the root cause, but now what? And so that's where that's therapy's weak point, is that it doesn't do the integration so much. I have a degree in psychology and sociology. I've trained in a bunch of therapeutic modalities. Coaching's weak point is that it's too future focused, and sometimes it doesn't go back to the root cause and reprogram it and heal it. When you combine coaching modalities with therapy modalities, then they support each other's weak point. So that's one thing to like. Then, Joe, a really important question is the one that I asked Candy at the end. How are you going to live this, whatever you just went through, in any process that you do? Because you said that you've been working on this for a bit. I want you guys at the end of a process, how am I going to integrate this into my life? How am I going to live this? Practically, what am I going to do? So for instance, Julia, next time you find yourself in a fight with your husband, when it gets elevated, like when you have a moment of awareness, be like, hun, let's just pause for a minute. I'm going to go take 5 minutes and check in with the little girl before I say some mean things or before I say more mean things. So just, that's your practical practice. Have a clear, actionable takeaway of what you're going to do and how you're going to integrate the process that you go through. That's going to be huge for your integration. Like, when I work with people, rarely will I ever do one-off sessions, because a one-off session is me putting out a fire, but then someone's going to light it again, like you just said, Joe. So for me, it's not about the sessions that you do with me. It's about how you integrate them in between is as important, if not more. And that's what is super going to help things stick. The other thing, Joe, is we evolve on a spiral. So like, we hit something, we heal it, and then we go on, and then we're going to hit it again, and it's going to be a deeper layer. So I have long since been humbled to conclude ever that I'm over anything. Oh, I'm not going to be insecure anymore. I'm not going to get reactive like that, because like girl has made those claims so many times and been humbled and been an asshole repeatedly with it. So now I'm like, in this moment, I feel good. In this moment, I feel peace. I love myself and I love you and we're cool. But it's going to trigger again. And when it does, I'm going to move through that. With that said, I do want to, like, I have come across a new method. It's called the rapid rewire method. They have like an immersion training that's $1,000. It's an online, it's a 3-day, or if you're in the States, I think they're going to do it next spring or something, where you learn like the initial tools of it. This method, I've been studying stuff for 20 years. I am a forever addicted student. I love things. I have myself on like a limit. I can only learn 1, 2, 3 things max at a time, because I'm usually like overloading in that. The rapid rewire method is by far the best I've ever come across. It clears up things and wounds and patterns faster than anything I've ever seen. And it creates a shift. So for instance, this week I have a lot of heavy stuff happening in my family right now. Like my mom and my brother both have Parkinson's. I got other brothers and dads, and there's a lot happening. I carry a lot of that emotion for my family. And I was in tears for 4 days straight. I was choking back tears all day, every day. Then I had the awareness, Justine, use one of your tools. And I used this tool to work my family. In 40 minutes, I was fine. Nothing's changed in my circumstance. Everybody's still suffering. I'm still holding it all. But I moved something. What exactly I moved, I'm not exactly sure. I kind of have an idea. I can summarize it, but some of these tools, they just move stuff. That night I went out dancing and had an incredible night. Whereas like before, I left dance class because I couldn't stop choking on my tears to cry. So there are certain tools out there that can create bigger shifts faster and make it stick. It's rapid rewires a lot have NLP in it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with NLP, but there's certain techniques out there that work on a conscious and subconscious level. That's why sometimes we're like, what just happened? Like when I get the technique I took myself through, it's literally, it can feel like an ayahuasca trip. Like the happening and the way that we rewire our brain in some of those tools. So that's one that you guys can look into, or if you want to book sessions with me, I'll take you through the processes, and it sticks. It sticks better than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, my first experiences with hypnosis and psychedelics were also with NLP. Yeah, it definitely makes everything a lot more powerful.
This is NLP on steroids. So the guy who created this method, he took a bunch of modalities and he said, what are the most effective components of this modality? And then he added those together and he created this. So if you guys have heard of Tony Robbins, right? Spoonie, can you put your thing on mute?
Oh,
there you go. So Tony Robbins has these events where there's thousands and thousands of people. And in his event, he would have this guy who created this in a hotel room. So if somebody got provoked in his event, his staff would take that person, take him to this guy. He would process them super quick and get them back out into the event again. So the rapid rewire method is the best one I have come across by far. And as I said, they have you can do an immersion where you'll learn the basics. They're still super effective, but it goes even deeper than that. So, all right. We are starting to wrap up. Thank you guys for sharing that you did. Each of you, I think, really allowed your questions and your shares brought some important things to the surface. This tool that you have, like you have a document there. Message me. I can give you, I've given this as a lecture in some of my programs. So if you want me to send you a video where I'm giving a lecture on it, I'll send that too. Just message me and tell me what you want of the things that I've shared with you. And I would love to hear from each of you guys. What's something that you're taking away from today's session? What landed for you? What's the insight? What's the takeaway? What's the actionable step? Any one of those questions, answer it and share as we start to conclude this. So you can unmute and share, or you can type it, either one, but I'd love to hear from each of you.
I'll share. Yeah, I just feel like that is true. Like the tools, I feel like sometimes like the tools that I have like they don't cut deep. And so sometimes it just doesn't feel like enough. And so then I kind of like cast them aside when I need something. I'm like, oh, that doesn't even work anyways. And yeah, so like to have something that cuts. And oh, well, I'll be emailing you, I guess. But yeah, so I'll be like definitely taking that away, and definitely like the spiral that sticks, because yeah, I thought I thought I was like cured of this. Like I was like, oh, I'm over it, I'll never do it again. And then I did it again the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, like wow. So this is something that like I don't get cured, like I'll have to just use my tools and keep the tools. So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I like what you just spoke to too, because there's a lot of tools out there, especially the therapeutic ones, that are for coping, not for healing. And there is a big difference between that. So it's like, if you use tools to cope, like to work with the disassociation, to work with grounding, to work with regulation, your breath and things like that, great. So you have like, let's just say you have, you know, this much capacity and you've got all of this stress inside. And then you use a tool to calm that down, you're not actually doing the deeper healing though. So then the next trigger that comes, it gets activated again. Whereas you want to have tools that do the deeper healing, that cut to the core. Because when you do that, then you're not trying to manage all of this energy and all of this chaos. You're not trying to regulate it. You've healed it. It doesn't come up as often, as much, or take a hold of you as quickly and as long. Because you'll notice the more that you do healing, not coping, the more that you do healing, you will catch yourself quicker. So you'll say fewer mean things. You won't say as mean things. You'll learn to catch yourself and pause. And then eventually you will not get triggered in the same way. An example, I had a woman, she was a diplomat. She was a baller. She was such a badass woman. She did it. She worked with me. Her and her husband then were out at an event. Something happened and her husband's looking at her like ready for her to lose her shit. And she's like, what are you looking at? And he's like, did you see what just happened? She's like, yeah, what's your point? And he's like, you would have lost it a month ago or whatever it was. Like, are you not mad? She's like, oh my God, you're right. So something happened that would normally really trigger her. Her husband was like braced for the reaction, and it didn't even phase her. It didn't even trigger her because she healed the wound. There was nothing to poke on. Your tools matter so much. The work of Byron Katie, phenomenal tool. The tool that you guys got today, trace the trigger, heal the wound, whatever you want to, creative name of mine you want to take. Feeling your emotions, those are fundamental tools that can change your life. Practice them, and then Joe, practice them every single time that comes up, and you rewire your brain. Your brain is used to taking this pathway, but if that comes up and you're like, nope, we're going to go this way. We're going to feel the emotions. We're going to heal that wound. Then that old brain pathway gets unused, and you'll stop defaulting towards it, and you'll start going towards the other one. And another hack that you can do there, Joe, and everybody, is like, imagine what if I could have done this differently, what would that have looked like? Juliet, if you were to express what you wanted to express to your husband in a way that was connected and loving and kind, but also honoring what is you wanted to express, what would that have looked like? Candy, if you were to take care of yourself and instead of other people, what would that actually look like? Because when you imagine that and you visualize that, the brain doesn't know the difference between imagined versus real. So you have literally started to groove a new brain pathway that will be easier to access if you imagine that response. That is a huge hack. That is a huge tool. Write it down and use it. Okay, great. Thank you, Juliet. Can we go over? Can I hear other people's takeaways?
Yeah, if everyone is happy to stay, no problem. I just wanted to say before everyone goes that if you need to contact Justine, you can send an email to me and I can put you in touch. I put the email in the chat and I'll say it, Carolina@behold behold.retreats.com or inquiries@behold.retreats.com. Just get in touch and we can put you guys together. And we will share the video, we'll share the documents that Justine shared here also after this call to everyone. Not straight away, just give us a few days and then we will share. But just wanted to let everybody know before if anyone wants to leave. But we're happy to stay as long as not as long because the call is about to close, but a few minutes more. Yes.
Cool. Thank you, Julia. That was great. Anybody else want to share? What's your takeaway? What's your insight? What's your action step that you're going to do?
So takeaway for me is really working towards acceptance that like it's going to keep coming back around. It's going to keep coming back around. I'm not going to succeed in fixing this in like 1 or 2 times. That it's more about the tools and slow like geologic time scale erosion of things, not things being resolved and fixing.
Yeah. Great takeaway for like a level of acceptance and present moment, Joe. And I have seen people have huge shifts in one session. So don't limit yourself thinking it has to take time, but just be present with whatever comes up. Don't judge what comes up. Oh, I'm struggling with this again. How have I not gotten past this? Like, don't do that. That's not helpful and productive, guys. Love you. Oh, this is here again. Cool. It needs my attention. What am I going to do with it? Curiosity and compassion and presence. But major things can change quickly. And some of it takes time. Some of it's multi-layered, and we've got to go back to multiple times in our past and heal those layers. We don't know. Just deal with what comes up. Don't judge it. Good one, Joe. Nice. Thank you. Would anybody else like to share a takeaway?
For some reason, what keeps coming up in my mind, but yeah, like you're saying it takes a while. Well, yeah, I have this cousin that, I noticed that she was interacting with my mother on Facebook, right? And I told her about how my mother tortured me and tried to kill me all these times and this and that. And I said I was doing hypnotherapy and psychedelic therapy. And she's like, oh yeah, hypnotherapy is really, really powerful. And then, I tell her, she asked me how many times I've done it. And I tell her, oh, I don't know. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it hundreds of times. And then she's like, oh my God, you need to stop. Like, that person's gaslighting you. You should only need 4 sessions of hypnotherapy and then you should just be better. And then all she did was like try to get me to stop seeing my hypnotist and stop. And she just kept carrying on with my mom. And she didn't want to understand how long it took. But, it's taken decades.
Yeah. And we all function at our own timeline. What is your takeaway from this session? What are you taking from anything that's been said in this session to help you to have a more empowered mindset or more peace or connection with yourself? So what's your takeaway?
I mean, I've been working with these things, I don't know. I guess just to take as long as I need.
Yeah, great. I love that one of just whatever's alive inside of us, it needs our attention. No judgment, no evaluation,
right.
Just that. And
right, that was my point. Yeah, like
all go on our own timeline.
I've been doing this for 20. I've been trying to heal for 20. I've been also going through trauma for 40 years. So like I'm finally not going through trauma. So yeah, hopefully things will speed up, but it takes a really long time to heal when you're constantly going through traumatic things over and over, right? But don't give up.
I love that. That's a good one. Thank you, Tony. Candy, do you have a takeaway?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to try and give myself as much love and compassion as I give to others and try and slow down to actually feel that. And I definitely will try and bring it to my younger self if I'm not able to do it to my current self, which seems to be a little difficult situation. So I really appreciate the time and all of your guys' shares too. It just has really helped me a lot. So I just can't thank you guys enough.
Great. And Candy, what's one specific expression? What is it going to look like of love and compassion? What is it going to sound like, or what is it going to look like? What are you going to do, or what are you going to say to yourself specifically?
I think I'm just going to talk to myself a lot more kind and give myself time, like slow down to give myself time to be able to know exactly how I'm feeling. And I don't think I know for a fact that I struggle with what basic emotions even are, let alone knowing how to feel them or how to even deal with them, because I just never have taken the time to deal with my own emotions. So to give myself that time and compassion to even know my emotions first and foremost.
Candy, get the book Language of Emotions by Carla McLaren.
Okay.
She also has a website. You can just read the blogs. I don't know how this book isn't talked about everywhere. It is one of the best books that you can read to learn to understand your emotions.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I wrote all the other stuff down too. So
Good. Lots of homework.
yes, I'll take it.
Okay, great. You guys, well, thank you so much for your openness, for diving in, for sharing your insights. There was a lot of good stuff that came up through your reflections and your shares. So thank you. I love these calls, and I love that you guys just keep showing up for yourself and doing the work.
Thank you, Justine, for joining us today. Thank you so much for offering your time to all of us. It's
Joy.
always thank you. Thank you, everyone, for
Yeah,
joining
thanks.
and being here in community with us. And we'll see you next month, Saturday, 27th of September. Bye. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
Yes.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao. Bye, guys. Ciao. Bye, Joe. Ciao.